Welcome back to COVID-19, Franchise Leaders Respond. I'm your host, Red Boswell, president of IFPG. We are joined today by a franchise leader, Aaron Marshall. Aaron is the founder, CEO of KeyRenter, a franchise that has been growing aggressively over the last few years. Aaron, welcome to the call today.
Thank you, Red. Thanks for having me.
Well, share with us, how are you doing? Now, that's a two-part question because you personally are looking better than ever, but I know you've gone through a big life-changing event with two cancers. So how are you holding up, and then how is your family holding up through this crisis?
So me personally, I'm holding up very well. Last time you saw me, I was probably 60 pounds heavier. I'm down, I was around 217, I'm down to 159. So I've lost a few pounds, but I've changed my diet. I did find out on March 26th that I have two forms of cancer. The appendix cancer and then the colon cancer. Colon cancer is stage 4. And so for me, I've tried the conventional route with the doctors and have abandoned that in the middle of January. A lot of people told me, no, you can't do that. I've gone from...
Now, Aaron, you found out, you said March 26th. You mean, was it November?
November 26th.
Okay, gotcha.
Sorry, November 26th, just 2019. So I've known for about 4.5 months, so I've steered away from the conventional oncologist. I still have him on a part of my team, but I don't go and get my chemo through him. Lately, I have been going to Reno and was in Reno for the last 3 weeks, and that was kind of hard on both myself as well as my team, because I was out there for 3 straight weeks, Monday through Friday. Getting my treatments about 3-4 hours a day, and then I'd come home and be on the phones and be on Zoom.
And home is Salt Lake City.
Home Salt Lake City. Okay. Yeah.
Got it.
Yep. So I'd come home on the weekends. I flew home one weekend, and then the second weekend my flight was getting canceled, and so I was like, I'm just going to drive home because I get there about the same time. So I ended up driving home.
You've gone through 2 crises, the obvious crisis you just shared, and then now your organization is dealing with the COVID-19 crisis. And I didn't hear, by the way, I didn't mean to jump ahead. How is the family doing through this?
So with the family, it's kind of, it's been going on a lot longer than the COVID-19 crisis. And so I haven't been going to the office as much as I normally do anyways. Now I'm going in almost every day, but nobody else is going in the office. And so it's me, my partner, maybe 1 or 2 other people, but there's some strict rules with going to the office with myself, because I don't want that, and currently I don't want the COVID-19 plus continue to go through what I'm doing, because my immune system's already compromised there. But I feel like we're doing good as a family. We're actually heading down to Las Vegas this coming week. We thought, hey, why not? Let's head down to Vegas. We'll rent a house with a pool, and we're chasing the sun, and we're going to see what we can do on Wednesday this week. Head down for about a week or so. So nothing's open. We're just heading down to get away from home. Different scenery.
Nice, good move. Okay, so you mentioned you've got your support staff, your team, each working from home. How is that working for you? How have you been able to take them all out of the office and put them out in their homes and still support your franchisees?
Yeah, so with our business itself, the property management business, it can really be done virtually anywhere. So I've set up the staff similar to that. So when I get a new staff member, I love Surface Pros. And so everybody has a Surface Pro at the office. They have dual monitors, keyboard, mouse, all that fun stuff. And so they have the Surface Pro, but to me, the dinky 10-inch screen, like really, I really don't want them to be working off of that. I have 24-inch screens just right in front of me. Everybody at the office has 21, 22-inch screens. So I've invited them to take the screens, take the headset. We have a Photronic headset. I don't want them winging it at the office, and so I've allowed them to take whatever's at their desk that they have used and that I've provided. They can take that home with them, put it on their kitchen counter, put it in their office, wherever they need, just so that they can work from home a little bit more efficiently. So that's what we've done.
That's a
to
nice
be able to help
takeaway.
with that.
I haven't heard that one. That you really just kind of almost cleaning out the office, having them take things home to really make it a more a less. I was going to say more pleasurable, but really a less annoying experience. What about? Give us a little insight on KeyRenter. You mentioned property management. How large is your organization, and what do you do?
Yeah, so currently we have 43 locations throughout the, 33 locations, 43 locations, 37 open throughout the country. It's kind of split half and half, I'd say, from the Mississippi. We have quite a bit East Coast, quite a bit West Coast, and then a lot just kind of right in the middle. We manage mainly single-family homes, condos, townhomes, smaller multi-units. We do not do vacation rentals. I know vacation rentals over the last 3 weeks have had a huge hit. There's been some competitors or some friends of ours that are actually closing shop because of that. Nobody's booking. When we booked Las Vegas on Airbnb, there's nobody else booking in the month of April. We're the only one, and we're requesting late checkout, mind you. But there's nobody else booking on that. I mean, we got that house for so cheap, $179, 6 bedrooms, 4.5 bath, pool, hot tub, which is a bargain. That's usually at least about a $350 to $450 a night room. And so we have stuck with the long-term rentals. So when I say long-term, anything from 30 days on. Down in Phoenix, Arizona, they have a rule of 30 days is that cutoff to pay taxes or sales tax. And so we do 30 days or longer. And that's kind of our sweet spot there.
Okay, so you've got the 40 some odd franchisees scattered abroad. What's changed for you? How are you responding with your franchisees throughout this crisis?
So I'd say number one, probably communication. We have Monday kickstart calls. We've switched kind of how that communication and what we teach and what the training is on Mondays to be more how to deal with this, how to still network. You can still do virtual coffee meetings, virtual coffee meetings with realtors, with brokers, with insurance people, anybody that may come in contact with do-it-yourself landlords. Because for us, that is our biggest competition, is the do-it-yourself landlords. They manage about 70% of the properties that we want to manage. And then the professional property managers, property management companies manage the other 30%. So that as well as the realtors and brokers, that's another avenue for us that we get a lot of referrals for coming in, and just looking to see how else can we get in front of them. If we can't get in front of them going to the office, if we can't get in front of them going to get coffee, we can be in front of them via Zoom, a virtual coffee meeting, and letting them know who we are, what we're all about, and we'd like their referrals.
Aaron, that is solid advice. You know, probably 2/3 of all franchises out there really rely on the owner operator getting out and prospecting. We hear time and time again, my ideal candidate for my franchise is someone who can get out in the community and meet and shake hands and have coffee. Your guys are no different. You've taught them big pivot. Let's keep doing what we're doing because we got to stay in business. But instead of shaking the hand, eye to eye, flesh to flesh, you're saying still reach out. But instead of inviting them to the local Starbucks or similar chain, invite them to a Zoom meeting.
Yep. So invite them to Zoom meeting, and then asking for referrals from the owners that we already have in contact with. But just seeing what they can do. The other part is we got to ramp up the pay-per-click and the online marketing as well, whatever online marketing that we're doing to help connect. With the tenants, we're not having an issue there because we do virtual showings, and we've done that for a little while. So it's our pivot has been talking with owners and bringing owners on board. The ones that have had the hardest time with this are just of our franchisees are the ones that have kind of paused and just like, what do I do? Like how can I have a virtual coffee meeting? Like, how does that get set up? Like, come on, just it's communication and networking via text, via email, via phone call, and just inviting them on a Zoom meeting. Let's go. And also for us, it's educating. My partner Nate did an education call on Thursday last week, and our focus was realtors, brokers, and do-it-yourself landlords. And we thought, oh, we're going to have about 25, 30 people, maybe 40. That's been our max. We had over 200 people on the call. And all it was talking to them about the COVID-19, about what Governor Herbert, the governor for Utah, what his new initiative is with rent. Some people, as well as the media, it's been pushing, oh, tenants have until May 15th to pay rent. No. That's not how it is. If they fit one of these three criterias, they have until May 15th to get caught up with rent. But on May 16th, we can evict. And so just educating the owners, educating realtors out there of what really is what's going on, what truly is going on, and how the media has skewed that to where they're saying, oh, tenants don't have to pay till May 15th. And we've had to educate our tenants, like, no, that's not the way it is. And so really today when I get into the office, it's going to be interesting. Usually we're about 93, 95% paid. I believe we'll be at 92 by the 6th, by later on this afternoon. So I don't feel like it's going to be a huge burden for us. Nationwide, I think we'll be about 90% paid. So I don't believe this will really affect our organization a whole lot. And the main reason for that is the type of properties that we try to encourage our franchisees to bring on.
You know, Aaron, I know you well, and I would say I doubt if many folks, many of your franchisees, or certainly you, are sending evicting notices on the 16th. You know, there's that compassion and that empathy that you have, and no doubt it goes through your culture. There's ways to, I imagine you're deferring it, or, you know, you still owe it, but we're going to work with you to get it paid.
Communication is key. I'll even, I mean, if somebody needs till June, July, August, as long as there's communication, you do what you say, I'll do what I say. Let's work something out. So totally.
It's when they ignore that things and don't communicate well. That's in all areas of life where problems really start occurring. When my kids ignore me, boy, the wrath comes. Yeah.
Yep.
So some maturity is needed, even through the heartache that they may be going through. They realize you're willing to work with them and help them. That's a good takeaway and a good response to the empathy, stronger than ever.
Oh, totally.
So what about, have you seen, this is something I haven't really asked much, the mom and pops out there, the competitors that are just trying to do it out on their own. I imagine they're having more struggle than maybe your franchisees because of the camaraderie and the communication and the support and the best practices. Any examples of that, or maybe flip it, any examples of franchisees thriving through this?
So yeah, I'll give you one of both. I heard of a property management company last week that they were on Facebook trying to get some ideas from, and their tenant said, look, I'm not going to pay rent. And I mean, just a simple, I mean, it happens every month, but she's like, what do I do? And it's like, well, it's same as anything ever, but first communication, like you've got to ask them, okay, why? What's going on? Have you been affected by this? If you have, how have you been affected? There's some stimulus package that's going to continue to come through, and just kind of see when that's. I've heard that some of that's going to be coming down the pipeline about the 15th of April, that people should start receiving checks. But just communicating with them, as well as one of our franchisees up in. It's actually up in Washington, Tacoma, Washington, where I thought. Washington itself, especially with Tacoma, just south of Seattle, not really doing a whole lot with activity. People have shut in because there's a lot of cases up in the Seattle area. They're killing it still. They're not going to meet with people. They're doing the virtual Zoom meetings, virtual coffee meetings, and they're still bringing on 2, 3, 5 new doors a month up there. And they haven't let this crisis like stop them. I think part of it's a mindset, and just like you've got to continue to find a way to get through it. And like you said earlier, just pivot a little bit direction. For us, we're trying to give our franchisees confidence. And if there's an issue that comes up, not paying rent, one, we're here. They can call us whenever they need to, and they know that. We have a hotline. We have other text messaging ways that they can communicate with us Monday through Friday. But making it to where the franchisees have confidence and go out there and they can just conquer it. To me, that's the most important thing that I can give to my franchisees is that confidence to where they can go out and nail it.
Amen. You know, when I was a franchisor for many years, I taught my franchisees, and the business we're in doesn't matter. I simply taught them, you are not an X that markets, you are a marketer that X. And you guys, marketing slash prospecting and sales, same thing. You know,
Yep.
the easiest part of any business is typically that business. The hardest part is acquiring the clients. Keeping them is not that hard. And so you've taught your folks, don't let this crisis stop you. Let's pivot and do it a different way. And when it happened to us back in the global economic, crisis of 08, 9, and 10, the franchisees who bought into the media hype, and I apologize, it may not be hype in some areas, but bought into the sky is falling, run for the hills and hide under your bed for the next month, they sometimes closed or certainly suffered greatly. Those who continued to market, maybe in a different way, but continued to aggressively go after supporting their clients and helping new clients, they thrived.
Oh yeah, and I think with KeyRenter, we will be able to thrive and do better if there is a downturn, if there is like a long-term crisis here, because people will tend to play hot potato with their property. They don't want it. They're moving from one area to another area. Thank you, babe. I got my celery juice.
Whoa, strong.
It's 100% celery juice. So yes, that's one of the things that I do as well is juice, protein. I'm a vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free. So there's not a lot of food that I can eat nowadays. But my wife giving me my celery juice.
Nice.
Lost my train of thought there as my wife was coming in.
We talked a little about technology and how you've incorporated Zoom even more than ever. Anything else on that aspect of technology that maybe a franchisor could learn what you're doing from?
The other thing, this isn't really with what a franchisor can, well, I guess so. There's a couple things. One, go out and research what other people in your in your industry is doing with technology. For us, we've been doing virtual showings for a little while. The franchisees that have not been doing virtual showings, they're kind of forced to that, especially if you have, I don't know, even if you have one vacancy, we're not doing showings if it's occupied because of the tenant. And so once the tenant moves out, then we're doing showings. But we're not showing up with a tenant. We're doing virtual showings via camera, YouTube. We're also doing self showings, and so we're doing both. But we've been doing more virtual showings. Just see what other competitors are doing out there with technology. And to me, I call it R&D, rip off and duplicate. Do the same thing that they're doing. It's okay to do that.
That's the purpose of this show, man. Learn from those that are doing it. It's sharing best practices. So
you've got to get out there and R&D this and see what other people are doing in your industry. How are they thriving? R&D that and duplicate it in your own business.
Yep. Okay. Last question. Franchise development, two pieces. How have you seen the candidates in your process when this COVID-19 hit, how have they reacted? And then how is the new flow coming? Is it down? Is it the same? Is it up? Share that with us.
So we've got quite a few coming in and just kind of stopped. And that's a little concerning. Spouse, somebody, and it's going to happen with any franchise as well. The spouse is uncertain about the future and not wanting the husband or the spouse, the other spouse, to pull the trigger on the SBA loan. So we have half a dozen or so just kind of hanging out there doing that. The others, I feel like they're coming through just as strong, and that is not like scaring them away any. They're seeing property management is an essential business, and they're going to have to figure it out one way or another. It will give them a little slower start at the beginning because of what we talked about before. I'd say our lead flow is down probably 50%, but we're able to get them through the process, and the ones that are coming through, I think we're doing very well. We're doing virtual discovery days. We've got one coming up, when is it? Next Friday, a week from Friday, we have a virtual discovery day coming up. And so we're just changing how we're doing those. Instead of putting it as an all day, we do about a 3-4 hour virtual discovery day.
Okay, so I said it was last question I lied. What about, okay, lead flow down 50%, significant. What about the ones that are in? I've heard other ZORs say the quality has risen substantially because anybody that comes through the process tends to have a lower threshold of fear, a little more confidence, maybe a little bit better funded, maybe a little bit better experience in the business world, so they understand things will be back to normal. What have you seen?
I totally agree. If we could continue to have this, I don't care the 50%. If I could continue to have the same lead flow, I mean, we're getting some really great candidates out of this. I bet you we'll probably have 7 to 8 people on the virtual discovery day next week, and that'll be the most we've ever had.
Oh,
And I think we'll continue to have 5 or more at our virtual discovery days.
excellent.
And the people coming through, we haven't signed any yet over the last 2-3 weeks, but I think we will have our first couple signed between now and the end of the month. And I think
What's
next
your
month,
investment level?
our investment level is 65 to 110.
Okay. So job replacement, it's an affordable franchise for sure. I always want to mention this. We have the hashtag franchising stronger together. And this conversation right here is a great example of how you're sharing best practices with the franchisors out there and the franchisees of ways to do things better, to pivot, to make improvements, to make changes to the business, and to be able to not just survive, but hopefully thrive through this. So Aaron Marshall with KeyRenter, thank you so much. Any final thoughts, Aaron?
No, just go out there and crush it and do your R&D for the day.
Amen. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate you,
Thank
my
you, Red.
friend. Anytime.